is with us right now on set, the head basketball coach of the University of Portland, wearing his Pilot's gear. I like it. It looks good. It looks good on him, that's for sure.
It's the first time someone said purple looked good on me.
That's true. That's true. For so many years, you rebelled against it. But
that's right.
There's no gold. I think that's why
it looks good. That's no gold. That's right.
That's why it looks good. T, it's good to have you with us. And I know it's still relatively fresh, but you're putting your coaching staff together, starting to formulate the team as well. How have the first days of your administration gone so far?
It's been good. It's been really good. Getting the staff together has been the most difficult part. But just doing the interviews. I wouldn't even say difficult. Just doing the interviewing process, reaching out to people, trying to engage their interests, and so that's been fun. We're now in summer session, summer school, so we're allowed to get on the court with the guys, which has been good because the timing of when I took over the position, it was close to the end of the year. So I really just got to watch them play twice, and then they had finals, and that was a dead period. We couldn't really do anything with them on the court. Finals had come and gone, and they left on like Friday, so I didn't get a chance to. I'm starting to get to know our guys, starting to look at their weaknesses and strengths, and introducing my system and everything, and so it's been good.
Now, the difference, and you obviously have tremendous NBA experience as a player and a coach, but this is a different beast.
Yeah.
I mean, now you got to you have to be more active in getting guys to want to come to you. So far, what's been the biggest challenge that you've had to face?
The biggest challenge is, kids not knowing what we look like, what's our identity. I mean, so you have to kind of go sell that in regards to how you're going to play, what's it going to look like. Is it up-tempo? Is it slow? What's your defensive things? And tell them about the vision and what you're trying to do with the program, and see if they're willing to be a part of something special in regards to help build the program up. And so those have been the things we've had to sell. And obviously my ability to just talk about the NBA experience, right or wrong. Most kids nowadays want to go to the NBA. Right. And so that's part of that story as well. And my background in regards to coming up from a small school, having to work extremely hard to get to that next level. And so that I've been selling that a little bit, but it's just been overall just selling the overall program, the campus and everything.
Now, I'm sure you've had to try to get some of the new guys to be educated about what you're all about, but one guy you haven't had to really educate in that respect. Tell us about the trickiness of doing all the right things as a parent and also as a coach in terms of bringing your son on board.
Yeah. There's obviously some unknowns there for me. Let alone having to deal with the mother.
Yes.
But all in all, I've coached Malcolm, my youngest son, more than I've coached Franklin, my oldest son. And so I've coached him at AAU tournaments before. I coached him at Jesuit when in fall league and things of that nature. So let's say he's accustomed to my coaching style. Let's just say that. And so I think he's had a better understanding of how that's going to go about. So I think he's excited about it. Excited about an opportunity to be a part of a team that's rebuilding, but more importantly, excited about having an opportunity to play under his dad.
Now I got to ask the question because when I signed my national letter of intent coming out of high school, my mom had to co-sign because I was still a minor.
Yeah.
Who co-signed Malcolm's national letter of intent?
I think my wife did.
And I was about to say, because was your signature on both lines, head coach and father?
I think my wife signed off on that one.
And I can only imagine what the recruiting process was like. Excuse me, Miss Porter, I'd like to come in and I'd like to schedule a visit with your son. Can we work something out?
You might have found out she had some more demands. And then
yeah, exactly.
Otherwise.
Well, I did. One of the most important things in recruiting, you got to know the decision maker.
That's a good point.
I know the decision maker.
You were in the dark about
I wasn't in the dark about that. It didn't take me long to figure that one out.
Oh my goodness! And it's funny, like all the things that are involved in the recruiting process, like that one. There's the home visit, and then there's all these other things. But then, like when you're a freshman in college, the rules dictate, like, as the head coach, you can't buy him dinner. Uh-oh.
Technically, I cannot. But I can say, look, you know what? I have an address where you can go and have dinner. I can send them home. I can send them home. I mean,
this is going to be so fun to watch. I'm just telling you.
I mean, we felt good about asking you because we knew he had signed already.
Right.
I know you were getting asked about it even before he had signed. And you know, in the past, you wouldn't have thought twice about answering a question about your son.
Yeah.
You were proud to talk about him.
Exactly.
But in this sense, now you're a head coach, and there's all kinds of NCAA rules that seem to change every other week.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure you had to be saying, now, can I say something? Or what can I say? And when, and there's certain times of the year you can say things. I mean,
So,
it's really tricky.
I have our compliance guy on speed dial.
Very smart. Very smart.
You might want to get him a bedroom at the house just to make sure.
Now, can I say good morning to him when I wake up? Can I make him breakfast? I mean, can I give him a ride to school?
Exactly.
I mean, what else can I do here?
That's great.
But I
Can
tell
I
you what,
speak to
though.
his professors? You know, I mean, come on.
And what hat do I have on when I speak
Exactly.
to them? But you know what? As a father of 3 boys, I can tell you, man, nothing would make me happier than to have my son playing for me at the college level. It's got to be when you break it all the way down. This has got to be something that you're extremely proud of.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's obviously some pros and cons, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons. I mean, just to have an opportunity to coach your son, and especially at the college level. I mean, your son has a D1 player, and you'll be able to be there and help his growth in his game. Obviously, you've gotten him up to this point, but to be able to continue that, you know, very few dads have that luxury. And so, without a doubt, there's going to be some cons in regards to some challenges, but all in all, we'll face those and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But we're very excited about it.
I got to mention, because this is something that happened, and you will be familiar with this because you and Danny Kansas. No.
Danny Manning.
Danny Manning are about, you know, you guys are in the same age frame. So Danny Manning, when he came out of high school, Kansas hired his dad as an assistant coach to make sure he went to Kansas. UP went one step further. Let's just give him the head coaching job.
He was really wanted. I tell you what. I mean, they were not taking any chances that this wasn't going to work out really well. You know, and we talked about that earlier, Tony, before you got here, about the fact that it seems like when you get to be a head coach, there's something in your blood, and it's I still think in many cases, and you look at the NBA this year, guys that were winners were still getting let go. It still seems like it's an unstable profession. Sometimes the moves that are made and the changes that are made by organizations are mystifying sometimes, and yet it seems like when you guys get a chance to be a head coach, that there's something in your blood you want to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you've been accustomed to doing. You like that, being in charge, and obviously at the collegiate level is a little bit different. You get to really build your team up. You get to go identify the type of players you want and try to get them to come there and help your program. And at the pro level, you know, again, it just depends on what organization. Sometimes the head coach is involved in that process. Sometimes he's not. And it's just, you know, for the most part, the good program, I mean, good organizations, they do incorporate the GM and the head coach. They are on the same page in regards to how they see the game being played, but sometimes it's not. And that's where you have the trouble and the conflict in regards to how the team should be played. But at the college level, it's just it's a challenge to go get those players that you obviously can identify, but you can always trust that you can find guys who want to compete and play, and that's some of the big things we're looking for when we talk about our players.
Now, UP's not necessarily, or should we go to break and then ask, or what do you think?
Sure, we can do that. We'll make sure
let's
we
go to
give
break.
TP plenty of time on the back end to answer, because we've got plenty more that we want to discuss with him. So the head basketball coach at the University of Portland, great Blazer, certainly.
I'm so retired.
Are you going to coach? I mean, you know, there's high demand.
There's coaching. There's a coach for 3-on-3.
Yeah.
One way to stay involved.
Be the only way I'd be coaching. No, I may be down in Southern California for Keenan. Keenan has a big basketball camp. It's the EBC. It's Ball is Life. It's a really big basketball
weekend,
camp.
huh?
It's an invitation.
Because, you know, sometimes we get asked to, show up at these events. So, you sure it's that weekend?
Let me grease
what weekend is it?
Let me grease the wheel right now. It's the end of July.
Oh, this is actually the 24th. No, it's because I still remember you weren't at last year's event.
Oh, I had a doctor's appointment.
The whole weekend. It took the whole weekend.
Hey, he had a lot of things he had to check. I mean, he did say he was retired.
If you can get a doctor on the weekend, you might as well take advantage of it.
He did house calls. Oh,
goodness.
Oh, okay. All right, see what you do to me. See what you do to me.
I do it.
Now I can't even use the excuse I got a doctor's appointment anymore.
Not at the weekend.
Told him we got a thing on Sunday night. I got a doctor's appointment.
A doctor.
Had to go to the doctor.
Hey, I mean, you can't fault the man for having a doctor's appointment.
You can't.
Oh.
You know those doctors are very busy schedules, so whenever you can fit them in, you got to go.
Gotta go, man. Gotta go. Can't argue with
How
that.
can I argue that?
Oh, see.
We're with Terry Porter, the new head basketball coach at the University of Portland. You were about to ask Steve a question before the break.
Yeah, because University of Portland is not historically a basketball powerhouse.
Correct.
And I know any coach that takes over a job, that's what you want to do. You want to take it to that level. How do you designate players that are recruitable? Mm-hmm. B, you feel like would want to come to that level of basketball, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And how do you convince a guy who maybe – because in order to build that program, you got to convince guys who may not feel like they're on that level, or maybe they feel like I'm better than this. Mm-hmm. You got to convince them that this is the place you build from. How do you attack that beast?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple ways you attack it. Obviously, you try to get that one player that's going to be an anchor, one you can really lean on. But other than that, you have to get guys that you feel that you can coach them up, that has good skill set already, that want to be a part of something. And that's where you start building that. And then as you start winning with solid guys, I mean, the mid-major now is all about getting young guys and getting them together, keeping them together, having them build the camaraderie, the rhythm and the offensive, and learning how to play together. And then that's where you see so many teams, the parity in the league now in regards to cross. You don't see the high majors dominating as much as you see because of, so many high majors are one-and-done kids.
Right.
And those mid-majors have been able to kind of close that gap a little bit because they've been able to get kids that want to stay in college for 3 or 4 years together and build that chemistry. And it's helped tremendously. So that's kind of our model and what we're looking at trying to get accomplished.
Some of the challenges that those before you have spoke about is, of course, the academic requirements. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a school that certainly places a high emphasis on that. Yeah. How do you turn that into a positive in terms of trying to draw the ultimate student athletes, guys that excel both in the classroom and hopefully on the court too?
Well, I think in the West Coast, there's a lot of kids that fit that description. Stanford, if you say Stanford can't get them all, right?
Right, that's a good point.
I mean, Stanford can't take them all, and obviously there's other kids. And, again, it's borderline. You got to try to find a kid that's really strong academically that has a particular skill. He shoot it well. I mean, in our league, you can have an undersized guy, maybe 6'8", may not be big enough to go to the Pac-12, but he's skilled enough to play that undersized 4-man or 5-man that will fit. And then for us to get him and have him buy into our system and be able to become a solid player.
You can relate to this certainly, and so can I, because we were both small school guys. But even more so today than ever before, if you can play the game, the scouts will come find you. I mean, when we played, it was a rare gem that an NAIA guy got a chance to play in the NBA. But now it seems like you're starting to see more and more of them. You're starting to see those mid-major guys, those small school guys getting those opportunities. How important is it to have that conversation with recruits as you start to talk to them?
Well, like I said, I think either right or wrong, most kids dream to be in the league, and they should dream. They should have that dream. I talk a lot about my story, and I was on nobody's radar. I wasn't even a blimp on the radar. I was nowhere. So, I mean, first it starts with hard work and trying to give yourself and prepare yourself and try to be the best player you can be. And then with that, along the way on the journey, if your skill set continues to improve, they will find you because just the technology nowadays it's just too good. The videos out there, obviously, and all the different types of tournaments, AAU through AAU. I didn't have any AAU. Right. I had local parks tournaments.
That's about it.
I didn't venture outside my state to play any competition games. So, only one basketball camp I went to was a Junior Brisbane basketball camp in the city of Milwaukee. So it wasn't like I went to a 5-star camp or anything like that. So you have to try to make sure that, guys and kids understand that when you look at them at an AAU standpoint, you get them to come now. You can get them to come to the elite camp, and there's other ways to try to make that connection.
You mentioned the local scene. Obviously, a lot of competition in the area. You've got on the Division I level, certainly Pac-12 schools, both Oregon and Oregon State making the NCAA tournament last year. Portland State's trying to upgrade their program as well, and they've had some competitive teams in the past, clearly. And so with Portland in that landscape, how much will you go after some local talent? Is that important to have some local talent to try to sell everybody on the fact that you are a team that represents a lot of what Portland is about?
Yeah, I think that's very important. When you talk about that from a collegiate standpoint, you got to be able to close your borders. You can't let kids leave your city and go play for definitely another school in your conference. I mean, Gonzaga's had a kid from Portland. St. Mary has a kid from Portland. So, I mean, you got to be able to really attract those kids and sell your program. And I don't want those kids to want to stay. And so, part of it is trying to convince them that you want to build something special with them. But also, at some point, you got to have winning tradition. That's very important to try to attract them and make them want to come here. And so I think that's tremendous important. But Washington, the West California kids, and even I think some of the teams that Portland has had in the past, sometimes part of their roster has been because of transfers from Oregon or Oregon State that just felt like, they were at their Pac-12 and they wasn't getting quite the minutes they thought they would get. They want to go to a mid-major and really still have a good high major type experience, a very quality, league. And I think that's where we can fill some of those voids as well.
I'll tell you one selling point you have that we hadn't discussed. That campus is absolutely fantastic. That is a beautiful
and a great arena too.
And a great arena, exactly.
And we've done some other things in regards to our facility. We have a new facility, rec center, Beauchamp, that has 3-4 courts, and one of the courts is one of our practice facilities. And so it's a great facility for our students, but also a place that we can have with our women's program to kind of alternate in regards to our ability to, with all the scheduling of the classes, sometimes you come across a conflict with the scheduling times, and we have 2 facilities. And so from that standpoint, we're right there up with the rest of the universities in our league regard to the facilities and how we can, offer that to our student athletes.
Because, as you know, there may be some differences between coaching on the pro level versus the college level, but one thing is the same. If you don't have commitment from the top in terms of facilities, in terms of resources, it's pretty tough to succeed.
It really is. I mean, and kids look at that. That's part of what they look at. Obviously, they look at the tradition, but they also look at the facilities. What kind of facilities are going to be there at their disposal for them to try to get better? The locker room situation, obviously, the campus life as well. And so when you look at all those things, we feel very comfortable about where we're at with our university.
The one thing that you do have going for you, and it may sound crazy, but women's soccer at University of Portland is no joke. If they can turn University of Portland into a women's soccer powerhouse, I'm 100% certain you can turn men's basketball into a powerhouse.
They've done a tremendous job of getting the right type of players there, and so it's been done. The formula's there.
Exactly. Exactly.
How about schedule-wise? I know that and sometimes the athletic directors at schools put that schedule together. Will you have a hand in terms of who you're going to play non-conference-wise?
Yeah, we talk about that. Again, that's something very important. We want to try to build a schedule that's good for our roster, build confidence, and get us ready for our conference play. We're blessed to be a part of a couple conferences, a couple of tournaments. We go to Far West. We got that, which is local. We got an Anaheim one coming up, and then we have the big Phil Knight one coming up, which is just amazing. So you talk about a program our size to have the luxury of playing those type of events. Again, that's a recruiting piece that you can tell the kids, hey, we're going here, we're going to play here on TV, ESPN, and every kid loves to say, Mom, I'm going to be on ESPN,
Exactly.
or Dad, I'm going to be on ESPN. So
we never got those looks.
We never. No. I was like, I may be on local TV. Check.
Or local radio at best.
So if we come out on an off night, we could find a ticket maybe that you might leave
can you hook
for
us
us
up,
at
hook a brother
we'll
up?
call or something.
You guys are good. Just call me.
We'll go be there.
You give me a couple of days because now these tickets are hot.
Oh, I know. You used to be more accessible. I know. It took a couple of days for you to return a text. You're popular. More so
you
than
are,
even
brother.
before.
Yes, you are.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on the new position, and we really wish you the best. And we're gonna be there as often as we can to support you.
All right, thank you guys. Great
Jerry
seeing
Porter, great Blazer, and the new head basketball coach of the Portland Pilots. PortlandPilots.com for information about everything going on with Portland Pilots athletics.